like something hit it. Again and again. Was it you, T? Any way you look at it, you did this to all of us.
I can't believe this.
Target found. You hear me there, player? Thought you were done with us? No. Jordan built quite a large army. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute.
Here in Eastern, under the factory. Whatever you did, whatever he did, it doesn't matter. It's time for you to end this. Here. I just know he is. And I know I don't have to worry about you giving up. Not now, not ever. Nothing can stop you but you. It's horrible. The suffering of those men is... Oh, I can't even think about it. This whole world is sinking into the darkness. Has never made it easy on you, and he's not changing up now. You have to find another way, T. careful, T. Going out there's the only way, but something's not right. It seems dangerous.
This is it, T. Blackmore's here. He's just much farther down. You have to make a leap of faith to get to him. And you'll have to make it on your own.
your own ground. And when you know your boy has no choice where to go, that's when the hunt is over.
Stars can withstand the harsh words of the critics. It's time to listen to your reviews, Talk.
I admire your skill at the hunt, though you could use some refinement.
I'll give you that. You know how to smack the skeezers down. But not quite like me.
And I have been treating you for so very long, relatively speaking. Let us begin with that fine fellow Hejira. You remember him, don't you?
I thank you for getting me this far.
Smashing work, Talk. But he was a fairly easy one, wouldn't you say? Truly a man who could handle himself.
That's the... yeah.
Parasitic junkie. You may have helped him, but to what end?
Were you more helpful when the subject was someone a bit more easy on the eyes? Do you remember Consuela?
Maybe Ernesto was wrong. Clearly not all the inmates in Abbott are the devil incarnate.
Most touching. It would appear chivalry is not quite dead, merely decomposed. So then, do you remember an optimistic fellow saddled with the nickname of Junior? I wonder, did Warden Elroy II know of your previous crimes?
I owe you, Torque. Big time.
You're so good. I would have done him up nice, just to see if he liked it like that. He looks like the type.
Not exactly the most brave you'd find, but he was a strong man. How do you react to other strong men,
Bloody hell! I'd say thank you, but at this point, I don't know if you did me a favor. None of us are gonna live forever, are we? I admire professional men, but I would not lift a finger to help someone who shirks his responsibilities.
Your dear friend Miles. Feel your mind drift back to that moment in his cell block when it all came to a head.
And what the fuck is up with you, my man? First I hear this, I can't believe I say no way. Not my man, Torque.
What made him so very angry at you? And what happened to him there? Your inaction hardly seems worth commenting on, but he seems to have found out your original sin. Thoughts?
final confrontation is inevitable. Now we must determine which of us is the better at our craft. We will leave no doubt. It has been a pleasure pursuing a prey as worth. Do not think you're near done. A good shot, but I do not go down fast. Some creatures, when wounded, run and hide. Do not think you're near done with me. Miles to go before you sleep. So now, I know the feeling.
Now, my little one, let me show you something special. In my game, I needed somewhere people could be taught a lesson.
They were pretty bad people, huh?
Oh yes, very bad. Cheaters, liars, fools. I'd tie them up first, and in they would go.
Could they get out?
No, that was the whole idea. They'd choke on the filth and waste in there, and they'd learn.
Damn!
Now, who have you brought with you there?
My little brother, Malcolm. Dumbass.
He's just in your way, isn't he?
Yeah, most times.
You'll never get far in the game with him holding you back. Go on, shove him in, teach him.
I don't know.
Think about it. What would your father do?
No! I won't do it! I'll never do it!
Too bad he has such a loser for a role model. But he's still cramping my game.
Help me, Dad!
Nothing can ruin you, T.
You're alive? You're the first thing I've seen come out of that hole with 4 normal limbs. I thought you were either dead or were going to turn into something else any minute. Pleased to meet you. I'm Rance Truman.
He seems eccentric, but harmless.
He will ruin you.
He's not what he seems.
Bleed him out. Splatter his brains. Kill, kill, kill.
You were an abbot, just like me. I could tell from the pants, of course, but also your eyes. The eyes can't hide what they have seen. They transferred me out of Abbott when I wouldn't stop talking about what I'd learned. They thought Eastern would be better for me. They were wrong. The things come out of that hole and then they go right up those stairs. Don't even stop to say hello. As if they know I'm special. Look at it, you might think Carnate was somewhere unique. Everywhere you go.
You always had trouble getting your game on. Coming home? Yeah, your first home. It's not much farther. Trust me, it'll be worth it. You have a whole lot to learn, player. Now follow me and get your schooling. Remember where you first started playing the game?
The Horde. By far, this is the largest malefactor that we have witnessed. It is unclear to us if the Horde is unique or if we have simply never seen more than one at a time. It seems like a distant, much larger cousin to the Borrower, but obviously more deadly and destructive. This gigantic malefactor appears to have countless small animal heads sprouting from its body, evoking a mob or horde come to visit their uncontrollable anger upon the unwary.
Eastern Correctional Machine Shop. The goal of Eastern's most notorious warden, Raymond Elroy, was to keep his inmates as miserable as possible, something accomplished largely through the hard labor forced on them in the machine shop. There was little regard for their safety, with disastrous results. For instance, one day, the valves on the smelters melted off and completely incinerated a number of inmates. The stench of burnt human flesh has never left that room. The Legend of the Creeper. The police have no record of a man named Luther Stickwell, but the people of Baltimore remember him as the Creeper. The legends say he was a pimp whose hatred of women knew no limit, and he ended up killing not only the women in his employ, but also any others who suited his fancy. His eventual body count ranging from 50 to over 200. Few things make me as ill as when I hear he still skulks through the alleyways of Baltimore. Carnate Island. The people of Baltimore and Greater Maryland almost never speak of Carnate Island, as if they wish it did not actually exist. Yet there it looms off the coast, its own dark history surpassing even Baltimore in sheer numbers of atrocities. Today, those of us who live there work in the bleak Abbott State Penitentiary, or are married to those who do. I can assure you, we never forget that it is an intensely deep shade of blood that stains the island's soil. Blackmore's Drowning Pool. It seems the entire city of Baltimore shakes at the mention of the name Blackmore. The notorious drug lord has taken over most of East Baltimore's drug trade, viciously disposing of his enemies in his infamous underground drowning pool. Perhaps the fact that hardly anyone has ever met him is part of his secret. He lives almost as a legend, only visible out of the corner of an eye, looming over the city like a specter of pure evil.
It's a tough place. You learned hard.
Like the reflections in a shattered mirror, your psyche is delicate to the point of brittle. I've done what I can for you, for all the versions of you. Now your childhood home awaits. Your burden is to discover which shard of the mirror goes the deepest.
Right up here's where you and me got started. Always keep your head up. Keep your mind in the game. Let the other guy make the first move. A player's got to have his eyes on the competition at all times. Not much of a place to learn the rules, is it now?
this now.
Hey there, my little one. Come over here. Come on now. I have to educate you. Do you know what you want to be when you grow up?
Happy.
Happy's not good enough. You've got to be a player. Then people respect you. You understand the difference?
I don't know.
That's okay, my little one. I've got years to teach you.
Who you talking to?
Nobody.
The Garvey Children's Home sounds so innocent, but I think it was filled with little monsters. T never told me much about this place, but I learned about it when he would wake up screaming at night. He'd be yelling that he just wanted to be left alone. One day when we were out for a walk, we passed it by accident, and T stopped cold. He turned around, said we had to go home. If there was one building I could burn to the ground.
You recognize this place? You tried your best to grow up here, learn the game, but there's only so much a little one can do without family. Now our friend Rance, he thought he could sit this one out. Turns out, not so. I made his safe little haven not so safe. He's in it now. All his chips on the table. I don't think even you could bail him out. And you'd have to hurry.
Decided I would protect myself, but only up to a point. I did fairly well. That last batch, I don't think I could have taken them without extreme measures. Thank you.
Good deeds can sometimes lead to mixed results.
These are the ties that bind us. You can't cut them. You can't burn them. You can't be rid of them. You just have to live with them. Or die with them, like Carmen, Corey, and Malcolm. Do you remember how that played out? Exactly how that played out?
Explain this to me. What did you do? Just like you said. We put her down. We put them all down.
I never said do it! Now they're gone! I don't think I could have ever done it. But it was the wrong kind we associated with. Untrustworthy. Unprofessional. The kind who kills someone just because they get off on it. We've been through so much together. Do you remember?
Blackmore owns Eastern now, particularly you two.
Blackmore's here? Where? Show me that shifty snake oil dealer. I've never laid eyes on him.
Hey, I know your old lady. Fucking nice rack.
The prime target is secure. Prepare to release the specimens.
That's funny. I thought I was there. I was there. In your eyes. Nobody else could see me. Those blackouts, there when I get my time. Get your body. Get to be me in the real world. Everybody else who knows Blackmore thinks I look like you. Because I am you. But we've only got the one body. And I'm tired of sharing. You can't win. Not with that game plan.
Remember, T. Think about it. He's not really
I took the only way of making love, and in time, everyone feared. believe this. You played right. I couldn't get you to break the rules. And the way I play, it's all or nothing.
Times like this, it's hard to know what to say. You walked the line, T. You stayed true. And the happiness I know proves you were right. Even with what happened to me, the ties that bind us are too strong. No one else can compete. And I mean it this time when I say, I never want us to be apart again.
Greetings, I'm Richard Rouse, creative director and writer on the game you've just finished. Looks like you managed to finish the game on Impossible and get one of our sort of extended endings, so we wanted to give you something a little bit different that you might not be expecting. The game's story took on a lot of different forms as we were developing it. And one of the things we wanted to try to capture from the first game was sort of Torque's intense relationship to these events that had happened to different members of his family. Unfortunately, Torque's wife and children were already dead and we couldn't kill them again. So we tried to bring in different members of Torque's family, and one of those was Skid, his sort of younger, troubled brother. Skid eventually morphed into Miles in the final game. You can still see the reference to that on Miles's jersey that says Skid right across the front. So first up here we have a reference video we did in our Seattle studio that we sent along to the Chicago studio where the motion capture was being done. Now this is somewhat amusing because it involves the amazing thespian talents of some of the development team. You'll see our production manager Chris Klemecki playing Torque. We've got our producer Noah Heller playing Skid, and then in an outrageous bit of typecasting we have our lead animator Andrew Poon playing Carmen. You'll notice the voice acting is actually by someone else entirely. These are professional voice actors we used early on, but they're actually not the actors we went with in the final game. Check it out.
You gonna come in on this with me or what?
He said no. T's got Corey now. He told me about this colonel. I don't
You
think...
told her what? You out your mind? You don't go talking about that shit with nobody.
That don't change who he is. If you're too stupid to see that man
Here we go. Everybody's be harshing on Skid. Keep him down like he's always been. Everybody says I ain't half the man you are. Well, fuck that. The colonel's shown me what I can do to better myself.
What, land your ass in jail?
Don't be up in my face. This is the new Skid we talking about. Shit. You two drive a motherfucker to the edge. Think you got it all figured out, don't you? I don't need this shit. Fuck it, I'm out.
Just give him a minute to cool his head. It'll be okay.
So now next up we actually have the scene as it appeared in the game once the motion capture data had been incorporated. This was from a fairly early build of the game, and we never actually got around to building a model for Skid, so you'll see that Torque is actually playing double duty in this role. You can tell the real Torque because he's got that cool flashlight on his chest. Now one could only imagine what would have happened if Skid had survived the harsh realities of game development.
You gonna come in on this with me or what?
He said no. T's got Corey now. He told me about this colonel. I don't think...
You told her what? You out your mind? You don't go talking about that shit with nobody.
That don't change who he is. If you're too stupid to see that man
for... Everybody's be harshing on Skid. Keep him down like he's always been. Everybody says I ain't half the man you are. Well, fuck that. The colonel's shown me what I can do to better myself.
What, land your ass in jail?
Don't be up in my face. This is the new Skid we talking about. Shit. You two drive a motherfucker to the edge. Think you got it all figured out, don't you? I don't need this shit. Fuck it, I'm out.
Just give him a minute to cool his head. It'll be okay.
gonna look nothing like what I want. Always the way. Yeah.
Blackmore. Blackmore is one of the multiple fictional personalities of our prime target, Torque. Blackmore is highly intelligent, fiercely determined, and brilliantly charismatic, but is only dominant a small percentage of the time. Nevertheless, he's managed to build a substantial criminal empire and has been using his ill-gotten gains to fund the Foundation. He's included here because of his unique connection to the malefactors.
Jordan and the Foundation. One day on Carnade, I heard a helicopter land. I went to investigate and saw an imposing woman emerge from the craft. Researching the helicopter's insignia, I learned of a shadow organization known only as the Foundation. Dedicated to some sort of paranormal research, I learned of the group's leader Jordan and her fierce determination. From that one time I saw her, I knew she would stop at nothing to get what she wanted.
T has this thing, and I've never seen anything like it. I mean, anyone can tell you that he has some problems controlling his anger, but this goes way beyond that. When he was working at the gym sparring one time, I saw him lay into some guy like a madman. After a minute, T seemed to snap out of it, pulling back just in time. If he hadn't, I think he might have killed that other guy. It's like he becomes something else entirely. Blackmore. I hate even writing his name down. Now I know it was him. Whether T was guilty of what happened at Miles's bar, I'm not sure. But I know it wouldn't have happened without Blackmore. And the things Blackmore said to me about the boys? It's one thing being king drug dealer, or whatever he is, but Blackmore takes evil to another level. He's almost too evil to be real, and I've never even seen him in the flesh. The gazebo is where T and I met, and I know it's silly, but just looking at a photo of it makes me wonder, what if that gazebo had been somewhere else? Somewhere far from Baltimore, far from the junkies, far from Blackmore? What if it had been in some small town somewhere out in the country, 1,000,000 years ago? We would have stepped out of that gazebo into a world that would have let us have our life, had our dream, had our happiness. I still wonder.